Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Life of a Business Manager podcast. This is the podcast where we break down the real world skills every business manager needs to succeed. I'm your host, Syna, and today we're diving into another important topic as a business manager, which is managing budgets and tracking expenses for an organization. Now, from my personal experience, budgeting can be very challenging as a first-time business manager because it's only completed once a year, and for the rest of the year, you're required to manage your budget monthly. Whether you're in the healthcare, education, tech, or any other industry, managing an organization's budget is not easy and can be very overwhelming. So today we're going to break down how to approach budgeting strategically and with a purpose, how to track your expenses so you can meet your annual budget, and how to use tactical methods to make smart decisions for the future. Now, I just want to set the stage and expectations for this episode and let you all know that this is a first pass episode at managing budgets. If you're interested in the details of the budgeting process, I can record future episodes. Just send me an email and let me know because budgets are complicated and every organization has its own budget process. Please be mindful and know I will only be talking about high-level summary. We will only cover the basics, and this is a quick budget episode overview. Let's get to it. Okay, everyone, let's get started with the first segment, which is budget management. And why do we need to do a budget in general when you're a business manager? Now, it's always important to have a budget either for your personal or your work life. Budget holds operators accountable and keeps the department aligned to what they can actually spend and how much money they're making for the organization. Typically, when you work for an organization, there's probably already a budget process given to you by the budget team. Or if you're part of the budget team, you can work to improve the process. The process might consist of, for example, looking at your actual spend and projections based on what the organization's financial goal is for the future. So let's talk about the three main categories of budget management. The first category is planning. Obviously, it's always best to plan your budget. You can start by creating a financial roadmap by estimating the projected revenue and expenses. This involves setting financial goals, allocating resources, or forecasting costs for the future. Typically, this is completed within the budget team within your organization. The next category is monitoring. So you can start by tracking your actual spend and income against your budget in real time. This helps identify any variances and ensures that you stay within the financial constraints. Also, within an organization, there are financial reports that are available to you to view from the budget team. But if you need to create your own, you can also use QuickBooks or Excel to help you monitor the budget. The third category is assessing, then evaluate. So for this step, I decided to combine it because you need to review and analyze your budget performance to see what exactly worked and what didn't work, and where you can cut costs or make any adjustments that are needed for the future. At the organizational level, managing budgets isn't just about spreadsheets or approvals. It's also about aligning financial resources to any strategic priorities in place and making sure every dollar works for the mission of the organization. As a business manager, you're often the middle person between the operators and the finance team. That's why it's important to understand the big picture when you do your budgets and the day-to-day details of the budget process. Most times, as a business manager, you're asked to make quick decisions and advise your operators on the next steps and how to manage their budget moving forward. When I first became a business manager, I quickly realized that most people do not know how the budget works in an organization. The bulk of the questions asked by the operators that I support is based on advising on the budget and what to do next. Okay, so the second segment is how to build your budget. Let's walk through the steps to build your budget from the ground up. So step one is every organization has a strategy when it comes to budget. So be strategic. Understand the organization's strategic goals. Are you growing? What's your EBITDA? Do we need to cut costs? Are you launching any new projects or services? Your budget must reflect those plans. Step two is projections. You need to forecast your revenue and any additional funding. Before you spend, you need to know what's coming in and what's going out. It's so important to know how much money you're making as an organization before spending because I've seen most organizations can spend excessively. And then you're having to cut costs when you could have just planned better for the future. Definitely work with your finance team as well to review your budget, but also if there are any additional funding sources such as grants, revenues, reimbursements, or any donations. Step 3 is to be proactive and engage departmental leaders early. As a business manager, it's your responsibility to assist with the budget process and support each department or service that you're in charge of to make sure the budget is correct. Your job is to guide them. It's always important to get the department leaders involved early because then they can go through the whole process with you and see how challenging it is to create a budget. Step 4 is to explain and classify the expenses. So when I mean classify the expenses, this is additional work, but you see where your expenses are going when you create a budget. You know that you have office supplies or if you have a conference, you know all of those expenses. So it's best to break them down into categories. Some of the categories are operational, which are salaries, supplies, and contracts. Another category is capital. Capital is your high dollar capital equipment, renovations, or any special design and construction projects. The next expenses are recurring ones and one-time costs. These could consist of rentals. Hey there, fellow business managers. Are you looking to save time and boost productivity in your role? Let me introduce you to my Syna store, where I've put together a collection of ready-to-use business templates designed specifically for people like us. These templates are practical, professional, and crafted with the day-to-day challenges of business management in mind. Check out my Syna store now at samstore.com/life of a business manager. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. For any one-time outsourced costs that you weren't expecting or that you are expecting. So step 5 is to review, approve, and communicate. So once your budget is drafted by the budget team, it's time for you to review the full budget with leadership, analyze the allocations, make sure the department heads understand exactly what they're accountable for. For most organizations, the budget is approved by senior leadership and signed off. But this is a time where you need to bring it up to the budget team if you have any discrepancies or you feel like your budget is too lean or maybe too excess. Okay, everyone, let's go to segment 3 now that your budget is built. Segment 3 is managing and tracking expenses. So once your budget is approved, the real work begins, tracking and managing your spend. Most organizations have their own tools for financial reporting that they use. So usually there's a month-end closing and the reports are released to the departments for review. Here are some tips to help you manage and track your expenses. The first one is to find the real-time financial available and used within your organization. So most organizations will use certain software such as QuickBooks, Workday, or Microsoft Excel. Learn to read the financial dashboards and look for trends in your actual spend and your projected budget. See if you're over or under in your monthly report. The second is to reconcile and review any monthly variances. Once the monthly close is completed and ready for review, do not wait until the quarter end to review. Make sure to schedule time in your calendar to review your monthly financials. Look out for any red flags, any discrepancies, any overage, and make sure to meet regularly with your business manager or financial analyst so you can be on top of your budget. The third one is to categorize and track your expenses, invoices, purchase orders, any upcoming contracts. Once a month, meet with your business manager and review all current contracts, expiring or not, renewals, unexpected invoices. Make sure you know your budget inside and out. Get to the details. If transactions are coded incorrectly, your reports will be off. Always review GL coding and work with your finance team to correct any errors. The reason why you want to know the details within the expenses is that they are future expenses that will make your budget either worse or better. The fourth is to monitor by current projects or initiatives. Every year, there's projects that are in the works. If you're running multiple projects, programs, or initiatives, make sure to track those expenses at the project level. This helps with the financial reporting and ensures each initiative stays within the departmental budget. Okay, everyone, let's talk about the last segment 4, which is easy tips to stay within budget. The first tip is to ask questions and do not wait. If something doesn't look right, don't wait. Ask your finance partner. They would rather catch something early and fix it now than fix it later. Trust your gut when reviewing their financials. There's no such thing as dumb questions. So ask your business manager or financial analyst. Second tip, make sure to make time for regular check-ins. Whether it's bi-weekly or monthly, block time to review financial reports and track progress. The third tip is don't spend all your money at once. So typically there's 4 quarters in a fiscal year, so don't overspend in Q1, thinking you can adjust later. Early overages are hard to recover from, so just pace your spending. I've seen this happen quite a lot for multiple departments where they spend the first 6 months and then the last 6 months, they don't have enough budget in order to do any type of new contracts, new purchases. So plan your spend appropriately. The fourth tip is active communication with stakeholders. Let program leaders and department leaders know that how they're doing with their budget. Hold them accountable. For example, if you're over budget, just let your leaders know. Everyone wants to know where they stand financially. The fifth tip is to always document. Keep documentations. If you need to justify any reallocations or budget increases, keep a paper trail. Document everything. The reason why it's important to document is because if you're a department leader, the only way to save yourself and your job is to document. For example, if there's any changes that you requested during the budget process, and it didn't get in the budget, make sure you document that with the budget team. As a business manager, these are all important when dealing and managing budget. From my experience, the most important tip is keeping documentation, because you as a business manager have to cover yourself. And if you're in a situation where you're being questioned on your financials, and this has happened to me as well, you will have documentation to back. Okay, everyone, let's close out this episode and do a quick recap. Here are the essentials. Budgeting is strategic. It's about aligning dollars with the mission of the organization. Track your expenses. Treat it like it's a job. Do it continuously. Monthly reviews, real-time dashboards, and project-level reviews to keep you informed of your expenses. Partnership. Work closely with your finance, departmental leads, and leadership to make sure the budget works for everyone, and also make sure that everyone knows exactly where they stand financially. The next one is to stay curious and ask questions. Your job is to ask what the numbers are and where is it going. If you can manage your money, you'll be able to move further within an organization, because everyone wants someone that can manage their budget and explain their financials to their senior leadership. It's always a good skill set to have for the future. Thank you again for tuning into Life of a Business Manager podcast. I hope today's episode gave you the insights and tools you need to start your own process for budgeting and managing your expenses. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a colleague who's managing budgets. And if you have any questions about my role or any suggestions for future topics, feel free to email me in the show notes below. As always, thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye everyone. Hi everyone. Just a reminder, the content provided in our podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with appropriate professionals before making any business decisions based on the information provided in the podcast. We do not endorse any products or services mentioned unless stated in any of our episodes. Thank you for listening.